Hi everybody, my name is Beth. I'm the Steadfast Stitcher, and today is Saturday, March 19th, 2022. And the little girl behind me is Chloe. I hope you're all doing well and taking care of yourselves and getting lots of fun stitchy time in. Today I have some WIPs for you, some haul, plans, and a little chat about a class I took this morning with Jean Farish. And at the very end, I have a little book chat. So I hope you'll stay tuned. And I totally won't be offended if you don't want to stay for the book chat, but that's going to be at the very end of the video. All right, let's get started. So first up, I spent some time on Huckleberry Farm. I'm going to put a picture here. This is by the Blue Flower, and I absolutely love this piece. Love the house in it. Actually, that's my favorite part. So since you last saw it, I pretty much finished up the bottom part of the house and started stitching on some of the words. But I did run out of one color of floss. I only had a little bit to start, so made a little run to Michael's so I can pick this up again in another day or two. The colors on this are beautiful, and I just adore that house. The bear's adorable too. This is a very enjoyable stitch. I'm doing this on 18 count Picture This plus Sprite. And hopefully the pale lavender lilac colors are showing up in here because they really are quite pretty. All right. So that's Huckleberry Farm. Again, very enjoyable stitch by the Blue Flower. She also has a Flosstube channel, and I will link her below. Next up, if you watched my last Flosstube, we had the poll about whether you saw a bunny or a puppy in the face of my hand-dyed fabric for Nevermore. So this is Nevermore, and it's by Lila's Studio. And I think the punny, I combined two words. The puppy and the bunny are kind of gone because I started working on this fence for the graveyard, and it's kind of covered up one of the eyes. You can still see one eye pretty clear though. But since you last saw it, I finished this medallion here, did a little more stitching on the black border, and I've started on this fence. And let me tell you, that fence is something. I love it. You don't quite see it when you start stitching on it, but then as it kind of unfolds, how intricate the wrought iron work on here is just beautiful. So yeah, I think you can still kind of see the puppy or the bunny, but they're kind of disappearing. And there's a lot more that's going to be going across here, so it will disappear. But a very fun stitch. Now the next one I pulled out, and this is my last WIP from the last 8 days since my last video. I pulled out Riley Harbor by Kathy Barrick. Now, I'm in the No New Starts group on Facebook, and I knew I wanted to get a start on this in order to be able to work on it in 2022. So the requirements for No New Starts is that it had to have 200 stitches in it. Well, that's exactly what it got, was 200 stitches to make it a WIP. And I've done a little bit more on this. I have a long way to go. But I love this pattern. I love the whale at the bottom. It reminds me of a New England village. And I love how it's primitive. And I think I picked out the perfect fabric for this too. So yeah, I've gone a little bit beyond the 200 stitches, but there's a lot more to these houses than it looks like. And I am using Bestitch Me scroll, SCROLL, in 18 count. And I just love the colors in this fabric. I think it's beautiful. Good bit of modeling, and I don't know if it's showing here. It's kind of a pinky beige up in here, and there's more of that down here. I think it's, yeah, beautiful, and I think it's going to be perfect for this primitive piece. Okay, so this is Riley Harbor by Kathy Barrick. And I don't think I've shown this. This is another one of my bags from Patchwork Crossing. And so that's perfect for Riley Harbor in the village scene. Now, next up is plans. So I'm doing pretty well on my WIP Go goals for January and February, but I've gotten a little bit behind in March. So I do need to pick up a Christmas piece and spend some time on it for the rest of the month. Not my only piece to work on the rest of the month, but I do need to spend time on a Christmas piece. So this is where I could use your help. I have 3 Christmas pieces that I'm working on, and 2 of them are quite large and one's a nice small one. So I'm going to put pictures up here, and maybe you can help me decide which one to work on, because I'm kind of struggling. There's a part of me that wants to do the smallest one because much better chance of a finish, and the other 2 I just love and I enjoy working on them. So first up is my little guy, which is my Prairie Schooler Santa that I'm working on. And I enjoy this piece thoroughly. I'm doing several of the Prairie Schooler Santas. I want to have like a dough bowl on my coffee table during the winter season of just Prairie Schooler Santas and maybe a couple other things. So Prairie Schooler Santa. The other one the other 2 that I'm working on, first is Galiana cross stitch, and it's Christmas House. I'm doing this in Candy Apple Red Variegated by Anchor Floss. And this is Christmas House. And then the next one, my last one, is another very big piece. This is by Bygone Stitches, and it's Quaker Christmas 2. This one I'm doing in DMC 115 and DMC 890. So it's going to be a mix of the variegated reds and that deep, rich green color. I love all 3 of these, and I can't decide what to work on. And I think it'd be counterproductive if I worked on all 3 just for the rest of the month. So if you have a suggestion, or if one of those is your favorite, let me know. I'd love to hear what you'd like to see me work on. Now, for the rest of plans, I do plan on working on Riley Harbor for the rest of this evening, depending how long it takes me to get Flosstube loaded onto YouTube. Tomorrow, I was inspired by EJ at Sunshine Stitchers. If you're not familiar, they are a Flosstube channel, Sunshine Stitchers, and it's 3 people on there. It's EJ, Gary, and Sheila, and they are a lot of fun to watch. Their videos are usually out on Saturdays or Sunday mornings. Very enjoyable. I laugh every time I watch their videos. It's so much fun to see the 3 of them. But EJ from Sunshine Stitchers is working on Homewords by Rosewood Manor, which is this pattern. And it's a lot of fun. Beautiful colors. It's all done in sulky threads. And I am using the Call for Sulky, and I am doing it on opalescent fabric. There's a wayward thread here. Come back. And hopefully the sparkle will show up, but I don't know if it will in the camera. But so that's where I'm at with that one. Again, this is another large piece, but I just love all the words on this, and the colors and the medallions I think are very pretty. It's got words like friends, fun, welcome, home, peace, calm. And then it's got a little backstitch border all around that says Home Sweet Home with a lot of hearts and some little flowers on the side. Just very nice. So I am going to pull this out tomorrow because I saw EJ working on it, Sunshine, and it just got me in the mood to pull this piece back out again. Now, should we do haul or my class first? Let's do haul first. All right, for my haul, I have a couple more pieces from the Nashville Needlework Expo, Needlework Market. Seeing this was the first Nashville Needlework Market in a couple of years, I might have gone a little overboard, but that's totally okay because there were just so many stunning patterns that came out this year. So this one just hit cuteness all the way for me. This is Silver Creek Samplers, and it's Fred's Unifying Question, EWE, Unifying Question. Won't you be my neighbor? No, I won't break out into song. You don't want to hear me sing. Is that totally adorable? And it says, will you, EWE, be my neighbor? With that wonderful little red sweater and the tie. I just thought this was so adorable. I had to get it. Could not resist that one. The next one I got was from Jeannette Douglas Designs, and this is just really terrific. It's got all the different stitching words on it in different languages. The cross stitch, pointed crow. I know I'm going to say them all wrong, so I'll just show it. So it's the word cross stitch in many different languages. And I think this is so pretty. And it's called Matter in Hand from Jeannette Douglas. And yeah, a Nashville release. I love this. That's going to be a fun one to stitch. I was hoping I could maybe start this, but it's to replace a medium that I've already finished this year, but this is a little bit too big for that. So I'll have to finish a large so that I can start that one. The next one is by a designer I wasn't familiar with, and I saw this pattern and I had to get it. It's Works by ABC, and the artist is Arlene Cohen, and it's called Kindness, which we could really use right now. But I just thought this was really pretty with a floral wreath. Yeah, it's no act of kindness, no matter how small, is ever wasted. Yeah, I really like this one. And I do have fabric in my stash that's going to work perfectly with this. And it calls for gentle arch shakers, but it also gives a DMC conversion, which is what I'll probably be doing. Okay, that is my haul. Now, earlier this morning, I was out and about at Stitch Point on Friendly, which is my local needlework shop, and I got to take a class with Jean Farish. And this one wasn't on cross stitch, it was on needlepoint. So if you've been in my channel for a while, you know that my mom, who passed away last year, was taught me how to cross stitch and needlepoint and knit. But needlepoint and knitting were always her first loves, whereas cross stitch kind of became my first love. So we did a needlepoint class this morning and learned a few different stitches. She was really good at explaining things. Jean Farish was wonderful. It was a small class, about 6 people. And I got to learn the basket weave stitch, which kind of always befuddled me. I think that's probably one of the reasons that I never got as excited about needlepoint as I did cross stitch. My mother loved the basket weave stitch, and it just kind of, when I was a kid anyways, and she was trying to teach me, it just kind of couldn't wrap my head around it. But Jean gave out wonderful diagrams on how to do it. We did test pieces. So I got some little, and we're using Karen watercolors, which is lovely thread. This one I selected is Redwood, which is a nice reddish brown. So these are the two colors that I selected. And she helped everybody out with choosing corresponding colors. Yeah, so that brown is just beautiful. I love red browns. And we got a nice little needle minder in the class, and not needle minder, needle threader, sorry. Needles. We got the stretcher frame. And this is what we're working on. So it included the stretcher frames, and it's all connected back here. And she also gave us extra of these tacks and extra needles and the thread. And this, I guess, is called, I was used to always seeing canvases stitched on this side, but what she said was made a lot of sense, is stitching in the well here, where it's inside, gives you a lot more room to work on your needlework if it comes out close to the edges. So we got to keep the stretcher bars too, and I'll be working on this heart. And it won't be these colors, but hopefully when it's finished, it's going to look something like that. Jean was wonderful. She was absolutely lovely. She also runs the Stitcher Escapes cruises, and I'm hoping not this year, but next year to take a cruise, one of her Stitcher Escape cruises, up the New England coastline and into Canada. That's my hope. Gotta get a passport first. But that was very enjoyable, and she was so open to questions, and I really, if she didn't have another class that afternoon, I could have stayed all day asking her questions and just picking her brain on information. She has got a wealth of knowledge, and so nice, just a lovely woman. I am very grateful I got to take a class with her, and she lives not too far from where I do, so hopefully I'll be able to catch her in future classes. I know she's on, after these classes here, she's going to be up at Hobby House Needleworks in New York next week, teaching classes. Kind of envious. I almost want to fly up there just so I can take more classes. But Jean also has a Flosstube channel, in case you're not familiar, and I will link her below. She just put a new Flosstube up this morning on floss organization. I'm definitely going to be watching that. I could use some help in that department. All right, so that's all my stitching stuff for right now. I do want to run across a few books and talk about my Crafts and Books Club on Facebook. And that is open to crafting of any kind, whether you're cross-stitching, needlepointing, weaving, knitting, decoupage. So it used to be, I used to have two Facebook groups, one that was focused only on crafts and one that was focused only on books, and I kind of smushed them together into one book, into one club. It's called Crafts and Books. So the last book that we read for Crafts and Books was Jojo Moyes' The Giver of Stars. I did enjoy this book. It is a historical fiction. It is mostly focused on the relationship between the women in this book, and not so much on the historical part of it, which brings me to something else. There was a good bit of controversy regarding this book that I was unaware of before the book clubs, before we had it in book club. How am I going to say this? A lot of similarities between this and another book was alleged. And the other book is supposedly more focused on the historical aspect while still giving credence and development of the characters. And it's called The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. Now, I did have a couple of people in my book club that have read The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek. And the general agreement was they enjoyed that book more than this one. Not to say I didn't enjoy this. I did. It was, I got through it pretty quickly. I didn't put it down and give up on it or anything like that. But I found a couple of the characters. The main character was kind of annoying in the beginning, but it was nice to see her progress throughout the story. And I found one of the other sub-characters to be far more interesting, and I wish more had been written about her, which later on in the book she does get developed more. But yeah, Marjorie was probably my favorite character in this book. So I wouldn't run out to my friends to yell, read this book. I'm definitely going to read The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek and see what I think and compare the two of them. But from what I understand, I do like the historical aspect more. So I have a feeling I might enjoy The Bookwoman of Troublesome Creek more. All right, and just quickly, I'm going to show you the next 3 books that are in our lineup for the book club. And we vote on these periodically. People give me book titles and things that they're interested in reading. We put up a poll on Facebook and vote for what we want to read. So next up is, I'm probably going to say it wrong, is Piranesi by Susanna Clark. That is going to be our April read towards the end of April. And yeah, I am looking forward to this one. And classic fantasy is what they're calling it. All right. Then our May book is one that's been in the news some. And so that's why we're reading it, probably. Good part of the reason we're reading it. Oh, I'm covering the bottom here. Mouse by Art Spiegelman. My Father Bleeds History, A Survivor's Tale. And this is a graphic novel. So, yeah. Which I haven't really done much with reading graphic novels. So, I'm definitely interested in reading this, and I don't think it's going to be an easy read because, I think it's going to be a little bit emotionally difficult. But I think it's going to be a necessary read from what I understand. So I am looking forward to this one. This will be our May book. June is going to be a Sunday afternoon classic. And we haven't picked that one out yet, but that'll be coming. And then in July was another suggested book, and this is Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. It says, Death is Only Their Beginning. So that will be our July book. And I will fill you in and let you know what I think of them as I read along with these. I'm very excited to have our book club starting up again and up and running and having some new members. I'm enjoying that a lot, and Most of the people in the crafts group are either cross-stitch or knitters at the moment, but all crafts are welcome, and if you're interested, we'd love to have you join. I'll put the link below for the Crafts and Book Club. So that's everything I have for you today. I want to thank you so much for joining me. We have a lot of new subscribers recently, so thank you for joining me here in my little cross-stitch and occasionally other crafty corner. If you're brand new here, I do hope you'll hit like and subscribe and come join me every 2 weeks in my little crafty world. Take care, everybody. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.